What would the world look like in 2067? I don't know, but I'd be 100 years old. Here on Film Threat Reviews. Hi, I'm Alan Ng. I'm with Zorianna Kit, and today we review 2067. By the year 2067, the Earth is ravaged by climate change, and humanity is forced to live on artificial oxygen. An illness caused by synthetic O2 is killing the world's population, and the only hope for a cure comes from a message from the future. 2067 is directed by Seth Larney, stars Kodi, Smit-McPhee, and Ryan Kwantan. It's a sci-fi movie. It's about a kid who's thrown into the future to help save humanity that's been ravaged by the climate change and the downward spiral of the environment. Zorianna, what did you think of 2067?
Well, I thought the film had a lot of amazing intent. Great intent. And I loved the themes that it was projecting. The environment, having faith in something bigger than yourself. And I do have to say, I'm a fan of Kodi Smit-McPhee. He's now 22 years old, but I have followed his career ever since he was a little boy. He's been acting since he was 8. He was the little boy opposite Viggo Mortensen in The Road. He befriended a vampire played by Chloe Moretz in Let Me In. And of course, he is Nightcrawler in the Marvel Universe. So I have enjoyed watching him grow up, and now I could see the appeal of him wanting to do something like this. This is probably his most adult role to date. This is a role where he plays someone who's actually married, whereas before he played younger boy roles. And this is something that he carries this movie through and through. And to be honest, he can carry a movie. He definitely has the chops for this. So my issue is the movie just looks like a really cheap, low budget film. It just does. I feel like, they went into like the Australian forest and just shot a bunch of stuff there. And I just think that because the director's background is VFX and the visual effects in this film are really good, like there's nothing worse than cheap visual effects, right? But the visual effects are great. It's just that the rest of it just isn't. And that just prevented me from really like being totally enmeshed in this movie because I wasn't buying the world that they were in.
This is just a theory of mine, but back in early 2000s, George Lucas went to Australia, built a gigantic studio, filmed all 3 Star Wars prequels there, and I've noticed a stark upturn or improvement in Australian films, especially sci-fi. And I think you did see it kind of as low budget, but I also did see it as higher budget than most low budget sci-fi movies. I mean, I did like the sets. I did like the special effects, and there's some fairly elaborate sets along with being shot outdoors in the Australian forest. So I was somewhat impressed with that. But at the same time, I'm going to sound like a real hypocrite, but I really wish this had a lot of Hollywood glitz added behind it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna object. I really think it could have used a little bit of more oomph.
And the story itself is interesting. I mean, it's a time travel story. Kodi's character is thrown into the future to find the cure for what's ailing the world at the time, which is the lack of oxygen when the last living plant is destroyed. And, so that's a good element there. And then there's these time travel loops that occur. That's also interesting. Here in the States, we've seen that story told many times. And this is told well, but it's told, Star Trek Twilight Zone well.
See, and again, those were more low budget. Those were a little on just a little more just on the cheaper side. Like, you watch Star Trek and shows like Doctor Who or whatever, and like, it wasn't, you weren't there to be enmeshed in like a James Cameron a type of a movie where like it's all the world is all there. You were okay with things being a little bit more cardboard cutouty, and I'm not saying this movie is bad. It is more elevated than a low budget. It could have been a lot worse, is what I'm saying. but I just feel like a story on such an epic scale, and a story with some really great themes really could have used some more money, some more razzle dazzle to really make it engrossing. I mean, it's not bad. I was enjoying the ride. I just wasn't fully in the ride because the world didn't pull me in.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost unfair to judge it too harshly because it is a foreign production. It's Australian, and we're used to bigger scale, bigger budget, and quite frankly, bigger actors. Had maybe adding a A-list Hollywood star into it would have boosted its energy, and you wouldn't really have to rewrite the story at all. You're just bringing some spice into it, which again from Film Threat is so hypocritical. The sense I get from you is that and I feel the same way. It's good, not great.
Yeah. Like it's not a hey, don't watch it. It's if you're into sci-fi, check it out for sure. Check it out. I really listen. For all we know, that the concept of that world without oxygen could be us. It is a very real threat that they're facing. I mean, it feels real, but it just has sort of these, I don't know, like wannabe Blade Runner. That's
the sense I got from the film was, this is an Indiana Jones type film. Kodi shows up on this planet. Ethan is his character's name. Yes. And he goes on a little adventure. He goes into mysterious rooms and take apart a booby trap, it's got this kind of Indiana Jones vibe. And the best I could say about the film is there's really nothing to really dislike about the film. It's just, it just lies underneath that level that we're just so spoiled to it here in the States.
So you probably liked it more than I did. I would think that maybe you're going to give it a 7.
Yeah, it's a very close 7. It was enjoyable. It's not something that I'm necessarily going to go back to a lot. If I just want to show a sci-fi film to some friends, this is a good movie to do it. My guess is you didn't like it as much. So probably 6.5.
Yeah, 6.
6. All right.
Yeah.
This is a review of 2067. For more news and reviews, go to filmthreat.com. And with that, let's get out of here.